Its 5-point agenda, and later on the show, PDP, APC trade words over plans to compromise 2024 Ondo State governorship election. I'll be hanging out with Dr. Oladipo and Emeka Madunago. Journalist Hangout starts right now. Now let's begin the conversation. For many, retirement is a time for personal growth and rest, which becomes the path to greater freedom. But that is not the case for many retired workers in Nigeria due to non-payment of their entitlements. The federal government's pensioners are fighting for their welfare after shutting down the Federal Ministry of Finance over unpaid accrued entitlements. The national chairman of the National Union of Contributory Pensioners, Sylvia Nwawu, who led the senior citizens to the ministry, called for the immediate release of their entitlements. All right, let's bring the conversation home. I'll start with you, Emeka Madunago. The issue of the pensioners, looking at the socio-economic realities, which is biting hard on Nigerians. But before we do that, we have a track for this story.
We have agreed within ourselves, but I don't mind letting it out. If they refuse to meet our expectation, that would be very unfortunate for them. What we have decided to do all over the country, all retirees under the CPS, the Contributory Pension Scheme, we move to office of Federal Ministry of Finance and the Accountant General's office. We'll be sleeping there until the day federal government decides to listen to.
I assure you that any time that you or your leaders seek audience with me and I am available in the office as opposed to being outside of the office or even outside of the country, I will surely honor your request. And yesterday, if you had come to see me yesterday, I would have honored that request. So I'm not happy at all, and I'm very uncomfortable that you have felt it necessary to take this step. Your funding under the budget will be paid. We'll start next week, let me say next week, and then pay everything that we can under the current budget as outlined.
Now, bringing the conversation home, Emeka Madunago, looking at the socio-economic realities, biting hard on many Nigerians. Now, these pensioners are not finding it very easy. But why is it that the government is not treating right these pensioners?
No, this thing is actually, there are two different things.
Okay.
There's accrued benefits, then there's a contributory pension. So, contributory pension, I think, started in 2005.
Okay.
Under then President Olusegun Obasanjo. So, what had accrued before then, some members of the private sector actually paid the workers.
Okay.
Then, yes,
so
they paid the workers.
Sector?
Public sector, it was supposed to be transferred.
Okay.
And become a part of their contributory pension.
Okay.
But it appears up till now that has not been done. And so that's why the workers, the pensioners, went to the Federal Ministry of Finance, and it's surprising that that kind of money since that time has not been paid.
The amount is up to like 260 billion now. It's unacceptable.
But when you break it down, the value, if they had been paid at that time, if they had been paid at that time, maybe life would have been much better for some of them. Maybe they would have used it to do one thing or the other. But you have accrued the money up till now, 260 billion, because this is not money that's going to capital projects. Or maybe you're going to put it into fixed deposit or something. This is money that will largely, 90% of it will go into recurrent expenditure. On welfare, school fees, drugs, medical attention, and all of that. So I look at it, it's not really so much of money, but I like the assurance given by the Minister of Finance while they're doing that. The matter will be fast-tracked and that they will be taken.
For these pensioners?
You see, let me tell you something. One of the problems we have in the system in Nigeria today is lack of technical expertise. Okay. Some of the people we have in the system maybe due to deliberate negligence, just want to create problems for government. Let the government be embarrassed one way or the other. Then some also lack technical expertise. Issues that should be look at the controversy that took place between ASU and the federal government over IPPIS.
Okay.
Something that was judged. Even the JAMB registrar came out to say that IPPIS cannot work in the tertiary education sector. Yet, some people still held on to it.
Yeah, it is the right
until ASU went on strike again, and then finally, it has been dropped for the tertiary education. So, I think government needs to really look at, some of these things, avoidable areas of avoidable conflict. These things should be avoided. It's not in the best interest of the nation that, workers have to go on strike every time because of simple things. Look at the issue of SANU, the one we discussed the other time. SANU and NASU went on strike, withheld salaries. These things have been approved. Pay, somebody will sit somewhere like a rock, like the Rock of Gibraltar, and refuse for the file maybe to move from his or her table, and then people will now go on strike again. It will cause national outrage.
Okay.
We can avoid these things.
All right, Dr. How badly hit are pensioners in Nigeria, considering the socio-economic realities? Petrol is high, electricity bill. How badly hit are they?
Certainly they will be badly hit. And that's why their protests had two legs to it. Number one, pay what you are owing. Number two, increase it, the monthly stuff. Because like workers who are still in service, pensioners are supposed to have their earnings raised once salaries are raised. That's the way it goes. There's also a time frame for that.
Sure.
So it shouldn't be something that they'll be begging for.
It should be part of the consequential adjustments.
Yes. But somehow, I'm not a sadist. I love the fact that some of those who are begging for this pension now, they are from the offices where they handle those pension issues. So their mates who are still in service can also learn that one day
they would also be.
They will also be in that because look at it now, where it started from and which was my own interest. The minister said, out of the so many letters these pensioners said they wrote to him, he never got one.
Oh, really?
Meaning that somebody has been receiving those letters
and
dumping them somewhere.
From the minister.
That is a problem.
So the minister says, I've not received anyone. How do you fathom that? Your former colleagues are coming to demand for their entitlement. As a civil servant, you are keeping the letter under the table. That for me is sad.
Let's talk solution now.
No,
the cost of living crisis here.
It's very simple. Look, government should invest more in automation.
Automation.
Payroll issues should not, should not bog down bureaucracy. Payroll issues should be automated in such a way that people who are supposed to retire in the next 3 months.
Yes.
People go on pre-retirement leave.
Okay.
It should be automated. They are like in the private sector. People
like
retire,
once you're leaving, people
retire seamlessly, very easily. It's not. There's no. But I know some people today who have retired in some federal government establishments. They are still reporting for duty because their entitlements have not been paid, and this is slowing down. These are people who want to move on their life. They want to go on to other things.
Exactly.
But you are still keeping them back. So when you automate, then make sure the office of wages, income, wages, and salaries should be more up and doing. They should not just be in name. Okay. Up and doing. They should do their work well, and make sure government avoids these embarrassing things.
All right then. Let's move straight to our next conversation. Famous rock and roll star Elvis Presley once said, "Truth is like the sun. You can shut it out for a time, but it won't go away. It appears the frequent collapse of the national grid is man-made after all. The chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Ola Olukoyede, said investigations carried out by the agency showed that contractors in the power sector who were awarded projects to supply electrical equipment often opted for substandard materials. Olukoyede, who is the chairman of the EFCC, disclosed this at the Commission's headquarters in Abuja when members of the House Committee on Anti-Corruption and Financial Crimes visited him. He noted that this dubious practice was a major cause of frequent equipment failures, outages, and grid collapses as witnessed recently. How did we get here? But first of all, the issues raised by the EFCC chairman, how credible are they?
I think the EFCC chairman should stop over-dramatizing procedural issues.
Dramatizing?
Over-dramatizing. Let me tell you, Nigeria has a procurement law. The public procurement law of 2007.
Yes.
It's there. It lists how, contracts are awarded. Procurement, pre-qualification, then qualification, before the Federal Ministry of Finance will now also evaluate all those things and then prepare documentation for cash backing. Then you follow it up. After the cash backing, you have to follow up project implementation.
Okay. You
follow it up and make sure, if you go to a bank today that you want financing for equipment. Let's say you have a factory, financing for equipment. The bank will tell you that they have vendors. So they will contact their vendors. Their vendors will, take care of that procurement. So how come, what's the FCC chairman telling us? Then everybody in the Bureau of Public Procurement should be arrested. You know why? Because
the thing will pass that table.
It will pass through the table. It will pass through the Federal Ministry of Finance. It will pass through different stages. I know there are issues, like I said earlier, technical expertise. I know there are issues of bureaucracy, then corruption. But you see, when we over-dramatize this corruption, we make it look like one kind of, one kind of amorphous entity that cannot be caged. If we follow due process in these things, in government business, you will see that a lot of these things we call corruption will be curbed. But if you're not talking about something as serious as the national grid, it's very embarrassing, because the whole world is listening to us.
Sure.
National grid, 9.0 gauge, then they buy 6.0 gauge. Let me tell you, if this kind of a thing is passing through the relevant authorities, how are you sure that the roads, bridges that are being built are also not, how are we sure? A lot of things affecting people's lives every day. We just only tell corruption. No, we must make sure those who have the oversight of these things, if they don't do their jobs, why are they still keeping their jobs?
Johnson, the alarm raised by the EFCC, is this not coming a bit too late? Or is it right on time?
It's not nothing is ever too late, especially when you have the opportunity to correct it.
Okay.
We have that opportunity. And for me, there are two issues that came from that.
Okay. Tell me.
Number one is the procurement process.
Okay.
Who certifies? If indeed we have substandard equipment being used, like you said, we must look at the process.
Sure.
There must be somebody who should certify it, that this is good enough, this is what we paid for. For instance, we've had a few cases of roads where we have seen the minister now or in the past going there to say, no, this was not what we paid for.
Correct.
Okay.
We paid for this, so why are you giving us this? You must be able to explain. If you are told to do 2 millimeters of
asphalt,
and then you go and do 1, somebody should be there to tell you.
I agree.
Because for every project that is awarded, there is always somebody who is supervising from the ministry. So if that person has compromised, that person should be the first to go. The way we make it look like is that it's only the head of a ministry that is accountable, that must be sacked.
Under.
What about the one that happened in the Humanitarian Affairs Ministry of recent? Those civil servants are still in office. The person, we have not heard that anything has been done to that. Only the top person took the fall. What about those people? It means that, like Bobo said, those who are corrupt are left in the system, and then another minister comes, they corrupt that minister again. And number two, he spoke about implementation of capital projects in terms of budget, what you call it, performance. And that's shocking to me, that we do only about 20%. Yeah. So meaning that it is now left, you give a contractor, for instance, a project for 1 billion, and then you now do a 20%, and the man wants to get out offsite. He keeps doing what he can do with the 20%, and then what happens?
But the thing, but the thing is, now that the EFCC has raised alarm, what should the commission be doing? Is it just all talk and no action?
The commission should be doing something, and I will refer to what ICPC has been doing. ICPC has been tracking constituency projects in the last 5 years or more.
Tracker,
they've been tracking it. And you've seen a lot of things that have been unearthed. People who will buy tractors meant for the people and go and put it in their homes, unused. They just dump it there, believing that if they leave power by any means, they can sell, they can do all of this. So many of those have been discovered. People have been made to refund money. Contractors have been forced back to site. Those are things we can do. Because it is not all of the time that the aim should be to jail. Send him to jail. Send him to jail. Can we first get something back from what we are losing? Because when the man decides that, okay, I have, for instance, 30 billion naira with me, and the court is going to send me to 7 years imprisonment, for which he's going to use about 4 years or thereabout, or fine him, then the man will keep the 20 billion.
What should the EFCC be doing?
First of all, the EFCC chairman there is what is called a Federal Tenders Journal. All tenders, every process of public procurement, contracts, everything must be published in the Federal Tenders Journal. The EFCC chairman should get that Federal Tenders Journal first and go through all these things he said about 15-20%. Go through the Federal Tenders Journal. Then from there, start tracking the process to the point of implementation. Then let me now tell you one shocking thing. How many contractors actually are on site, on the site of their projects? You need to find that out. Because there are cases, and I'm telling you, go and investigate. There are cases where contractors, no problem, we settle, we'll sort it out. Yes, people in government will say, we'll sort it out, don't worry. This is our own share. And the contractor will just sit back and collect money, pocket it, without, being on ground to, So let every contractor be given a bond. Don't pay people money. Just give people money. I thought even the federal government had corrected this under former President Buhari. That, okay, we'll give you a bond, right? Payment, final payment will be based on...
When
I know some state governments, I think Oyo State also, some state governments implemented that. That, okay, we'll give you a bond. When the contract is concluded, and then evaluated satisfactory, then you can now present the bond for
for final payment.
Yes, for final payment. But if it is not satisfactory, that bond becomes useless. When you do that, you will make sure, it's just like every month, governors, commissioners of finance just go to Abuja and collect a federal just collect allocation from FAC. No. You should tie all those things to bonds. That is why you see the exchange rate remains high. Let's use these bonds.
Should the EFCC be publicizing the names of those contractors that actually provided the substandard product, substandard equipment?
No, you see, the thing is very simple. If you check in the tenders, if, first of all, if any project was not tendered for, that is a crime. That's an offense, first of all. Then the specifications in the tender will be there. If the specifications were not adhered to, heads have to roll. Heads should roll. And then the EFCC chairman is not just about, the contract. Get everybody
involved.
Look at recently, the federal government, revoked a contract given to Julius Berger for a road. And that's all. Nothing, no consequences, nothing. And you have such like that here and there. No consequences. Why not do like what the World Bank does? If you mess up with contracts, the World Bank, even the African Development Bank, they will blacklist you for 10 years. If you blacklist contractors who do this thing for 10 years, that they cannot carry out any government project, not even local government project. They cannot carry out any project in it. When you begin to blacklist contractors for 10 years, let me tell you, you will restore sanity to the system. Because there are many contracting firms that can actually do a good job. But because those who have been given these jobs, paddy, they know somebody in government,
exactly,
and then they can get a job when they don't have the technical competence to carry it out. If we do all this, we will save ourselves a lot of heartache.
Because of our time, do you agree with him?
Well, I agree with him, but I also add that, like I said, all of these things don't just end with this paperwork. There are people within that system who are ready to sell their souls to the devil in order to make money. So as you are doing it at the top, trying to look at this, they are also calling the contractors behind and planning how to shortchange the whole country. And those are civil servants. That's what is basically happening. Because there is nobody who is going to convince me that a contractor is supposed to bring something with which you have used government money to buy, and there is nobody to check. So we were just checking. Something happened. And just a little story. I know of somebody who built a school, who was going to build a school. And they told the person, don't pay money to the government based on the fact that we are building a school. Call it a residential apartment. It will be cheaper for us.
Wow. So
they collected some money, and the person also took that route. Years later, almost 20 years, something happened. And they came to us. This is supposed to be a residential building.
Why is the school here?
Why is the school here? And then they started tracing. Okay, this person was the person who signed it. She's retired. And can you believe that person is not late, but they can't fish out the person?
But they can't fish out the person.
But you know, and you know that they know where that person is.
And these things happen, even in buildings. Oh, this building.
All of these things.
2-story, you now build like 4-story on it.
Look at what happened in Lagos of recent. When buildings were collapsing.
Buildings were collapsing, exactly.
The commissioner had to go. But who were those who were satisfying those things? Why did we leave them within that system? Only, I think, one of them also left. But there are so many layers. All that these people go after is what can go into my pocket.
All right, then. All right, gentlemen. We need to go on this quick break. But when we return, the conversation continues. Don't go anywhere. It's still Journalist Hangout.
Every major news story is with many perspectives and layered with different levels of impact.
Hello. What time did they...
News. First, with breaking news.
Information is power. Information is security. Information is knowledge. On Labor Lens, we believe that working people around the world have real questions of their own. They want to know how the world of work operates, what it means to the employer of labor, how policies affect workers in the workplace. On Labor Lens, I am sure we engage effectively the organized labor, organized private sector, and governments to get out of them information workers are in need of. I am Sharon Ijason, asking questions that make you get sense of the workplace.
There is always more to a story than the scrimmage line. The part of a story that is not told casts a shadow. It's like the part of an object that is not reached by light. On TVC News, I'm able to explore the many angles there are to a story, talking to stakeholders, asking the difficult questions, and digging for facts. I believe the viewers are able to make a better decision if they're well informed and understand not just a part, but the complete story. TVC News, first with breaking news.
TVC Communications, how can I help?
What makes TVC the right choice for my business?
Excellent question, sir. Let me share some exciting facts with you.
Start your day on TVC Entertainment with Wake Up Nigeria, a family and lifestyle show. Your view empowers women globally.
It's your view, let it count.
Entertainment Splash delivers the hottest celebrity trends. On TVC News, we keep you informed with breaking news and in-depth analysis of events shaping the world.
I will continue to speak the truth.
TVC News at 7 and TVC News at 10 p.m. delivers the most important stories of the day. Max FM, your hit music radio station, captivates listeners daily across Lagos and Abuja, making every commute more enjoyable. Alright, if you just joined us, it's still Journalist Hangout. I still have Dr. Oladipo and Emeka Madinago right here with me. Alright, let's go to our third conversation. The new Edo State Governor, Monday Okpebolo, is leaving nothing to chance towards improved governance in the state. Governor Okpebolo hits the ground running by announcing the formation of a panel of inquiry to investigate the exclusion of 14 elected lawmakers from the State House of Assembly's 7th session. Declaring a hard stance against crime, the governor promised that citizens will be given priority. All right, Emeka, let me start with you. The probe launched by the new governor of Edo State, first of all, is it necessary or is it just politics?
You see, I'm a stakeholder in Edo State.
Okay.
And I hope the governor was well advised. Because the way he has started, first of all, before he was inaugurated, he was looking for Obaseki, his predecessor.
Okay.
He's not EFCC, he's not the Nigerian police. He's not Obaseki ran away. Okay, we took it as just drama, political drama. Then you're not setting up, you're heading the executive arm. You're not setting up a judicial panel of inquiry into, something that happened in the legislative arm. A matter that was taken to court.
Yes.
It's outside of your purview. It's outside of your purview. Don't forget that the Senate intervened in this matter. Then he went to court. So the best thing will be to have a meeting with the Speaker and say, Mr. Speaker, please, this matter, go and resolve it. Because, when you begin to dig very clearly, it's going to hit a former governor, Adams Oshomole. Because it was basically his own people, his own camp,
yes,
versus the governor that had this issue, which led to this unconstitutional exclusion. It was wrong. But you know what? You don't put nothing on nothing. You are setting up a judicial panel of inquiry into a matter that, if you even look at the paragraph where he said that, the next paragraph, he says, based on, doctrine of separation of power. So he knows about separation of power.
Exactly.
And then you are interfering in legislative function. I will advise the governor, if he's watching this now, disband that panel. Let the State House of Assembly sort out their problems. 2, Edo State is a major gateway. We are heading into Christmas and New Year. A lot of people will be traveling. Many roads are bad around Edo State. The governor should just relax.
Are you saying that this panel of inquiry will be like a distraction?
What does he need it for? Let the House of Assembly sort out their problems. Obaseki, who said they were, alleged that they were plotting to impeach him. Obaseki is no more in power now. So what you do, get the Speaker, let he and his colleagues sort out themselves. Those who have been excluded, let there be remedies for them, right? Let there be remedies for them. Sort it out. Then you face the task of governance. There's insecurity in Edo State. People need jobs. Many roads are bad. This is Christmas. We are heading into Christmas. Sort out the roads, the bad roads.
He already has a 5-point agenda.
You are not, see, my brother, when you see all this agenda, 5 point, 2 point, 100 point, look, the issues are clear. You said
he has his work cut out for him.
He hit the ground running. And one of the things I think he should hit is the roads.
Issue of roads.
Roads. Christmas is coming. Roads. I'll just urge Governor Okpebolo. The roads. Sort out the roads. Benin bypass is there. Sapler Road is there. Different roads. He knows what I'm talking about. Those roads, he should make a Ologbo. He should liaise with the Minister of Works, Umahi. If there's a way the state government and the federal Ministry of Works can collaborate to make sure that these roads are smoothened out. so that people can have, easy commuting through Edo State. There is time. You have just started. If a masquerade starts dancing vigorously when we are just in the prelude, by the time the main music starts, it will be tired. It will be worn out. That's what I'm saying.
Is this necessary, or do you think it's just politics, though?
Well,
see it as distraction.
My submission is that the court should be allowed to, make a pronouncement if there is even a need for that.
Okay, the court should make up on that issue.
On that issue. Because it's been there, and the Edo State has been functioning in a way, because all of this is politics. If there is going to be compensation, like Emeka said, do the compensation and let it be over with. We all watched the drama of that season, and we know the way it always turns. These things will always turn out. The man in power will always have his way. So if you are coming now as a new governor, brand new, then you should not also delve into that same thing that will distract you from facing other issues. I think it should face the major issues that are at hand.
Now, he talked about the 5-point agenda, but talk about health, but looking at this 5-point agenda that he talked about, should there be some sort of, should the governor be providing like a roadmap towards achieving this agenda that he has actually highlighted, and also a time frame before we start, seeing results?
You see, I've always been an advocate of promises with a timeline.
Timeline.
You shouldn't just come and say, I'll provide water.
When are you providing?
When are you providing it? I'm promising you that in 3 months, this water work will be working. In another, this will be done. So that people can always ask you the necessary questions. Mr. Governor, you promised to deliver this in 3 months.
And this is
some governors are doing it. They are giving timelines and saying this will work in this number of months, and they are delivering. That's why you keep hearing the name of somebody like Baba Gana Zulu. He says, I want to provide 200 houses.
Exactly.
And we'll do this in 6 months. And he will go back there in 6 months, and it's working. He did one yesterday where he said he was recalling 23 staff of one hospital who were sacked when he went there and they were not on duty. He sacked them. He said they've pleaded with him, come back to work. What did he go back there to do? To commission that same hospital, recommission it, because he has improved it and put life back there.
Timeline.
They gave a timeline. So we should have people who can deliver. Now, it's not the time to play politics. We've gone on to hear him go and probe Obaseki for so amount of money. Just like what the FCC is doing with Okowa, saying it took 1.3 trillion off a particular subbed in their earning. And then you go and ask yourself, even if he was taking the old money that was coming into that subbed, will it get into? So a lot of things that we hear, we are now beginning to question the authenticity, because you want to probe, you want to probe for so billion. Did you? Is even on its own? Some people have told him before they came in, chieftains of the All Progressive Congress, that he should be careful with looking backwards. Rather, he should face the job at hand and not be distracted by, I want to probe, I want to probe.
Some persons have also argued that probing your predecessor is a distraction.
Yes.
But for accountability, some will say for accountability.
For accountability, yes, you can do that. I'm not saying you shouldn't, you should leave them to go.
Yes.
But you should at least set the tone for your own administration.
Set the tone
yes,
first.
Let's see what you are doing. It's not as if it's beginning to look like vendetta. You are not in office yet.
Okay.
You've not even looked at the books. If something has been submitted to you, that this is the handover note, more like a one-sided stuff from your own committee that you set up. Have you taken time to critically look at it? I'm not doubting those who put that report together, but I'm saying as governor, you need to sit down and ensure that you get your facts right.
Okay.
It's not just a matter of setting up a panel that will be getting sitting allowance. Will be coming to you to say they want to brief you, and then at the end of the day, when you gather all of those reports, they gather dust on your shelves. We've seen it in the past. Even the Obaseki that is going to be probed already probed his own and we've not a predecessor, and we didn't hear anything of it.
Exactly. But some have argued that probing your predecessor is a distraction, but for accountability's sake, I think it's necessary. What are your thoughts here?
It's a distraction. It's a distraction. Let me tell you, this issue of the House of Assembly was a fight between Obaseki and Oshomole.
Exactly.
Now, the governor, the new governor, Pebolo, he announced, 2 commissioners. The first commissioner was Oshomole's son, Cyril, as commissioner designated for health. He should be very careful. Pebolo should be very careful. Oshomole has done his own time, 8 years, and left. He should be very careful fighting, getting involved in vicarious liability.
Okay.
He should face his own agenda.
Before looking at...
Before all those things. Now, he should be very careful because politics is a minefield. You understand? So, let him face the task of governing Edo State. Poverty is rife.
Okay.
There are no jobs. There's insecurity. Roads are bad. In some places, there's no water. A lot of things are being sorted out. Yes, he said that there are 3 judges that were recommended for promotion, and they were promoted that in line with the doctrine of separation of powers, he will ask the chief judge of Edo State, to get them promoted. Okay. That is the right thing. So do that same thing in the legislative arm.
Okay. All right, then let's move straight to our next conversation. The way says that election is the very essence of democracy, so nothing must be spared to protect it. Ahead of Saturday's governorship election in Ondo State, the People's Democratic Party PDP and the All Progressives Congress APC are bickering over alleged plans to compromise the poll. A statement credited to the PDP in the state accused the APC of trying to compromise the election. Countering the allegation, the APC Publicity Secretary Alex Kalejai said it is not true as they have no reason to contemplate compromising the election. I'll start with you, Dotso. The allegations and counter allegations, by these 2 leading political parties in the state. How credible are the issues, or is this just politics?
We are used to it. It's just the normal. Let's be seen to have said something.
But these are strong allegations.
I don't see what strong evidence.
Okay, the evidence.
Have they provided? If you are saying this person is planning this, we've seen in the past where parties have said so, and they say, see, talks are going to come in from these states. They already camped in this hotel. Where are those things? What I know is that the kind of things people fear for now in Ondo State, which was what happened in the past Operation Wete, will never happen in that state again. People are wiser now. And when you look at the 2 political parties that are struggling for power, they are one and the same. There are people who have moved out. They are just their own friends. They know. So now, how will those kind of friends, people who are from the same community, who build houses opposite themselves, now begin to get into that? It's a matter of wanting to talk. And that puts the ball right in the court of INEC and the security agencies. It is left to them to mar or make the election. INEC has said it has learned from what happened in Edo State. I hope so seriously. So that those things that people saw, like results getting on their own IREV, and people disputing it because they said that was not the paper that was signed, we should avoid. Yeah, and then you have a lot of discrepancies there. We should avoid it this time. The IG already, he has deployed drones, helicopters, and men. The task is now on the DIG, Deputy Inspector General of Police, in charge of the Southwest, who is going to oversee that election as the security coordinator, coordinating all other security agencies to ensure that nothing goes wrong. It's an off-cycle election.
Exactly.
They have enough men to prosecute it. If they fail, then it is in their own hands. But for the political parties, I see them as brothers who are just trying to make noise. Nothing else.
Do you see these issues, you know, or is this just politics? How credible are these issues?
They are credible because Nigerian politicians take politics very seriously. They take politics as big business. You know, we already heard the chairman of one of the leading parties some time back say they have a formula by which they will capture Ondo State. You know, and you don't take such a comment, you know, lightly. You know, so that may have also added to the apprehension. There is one of the parties that said that one of the rival parties, you know, has recruited ad hoc staff for INEC. You know, you see, the whole thing boils down to the credibility of the process. If INEC actually has it clearly stated that the process will not be compromised, that if there is any margin of error, that this is the limit, it won't be more than maybe 3% margin of error or so, then that will be the day. In fact, that will be a glorious day in Nigeria, whereby we will say, yes, we have finally dealt with the issue of, you know, just like we are, you know, gradually getting around the issue of a fuel supply. You know, we are now hearing things.
Exactly.
We are now hearing about blending plants, pricing, this one, importation versus local price. You know, all of those things now, I hope very soon, you know, we will get to that, we will get to that point where it will no longer be an issue. So, and I also hope with electoral reforms, because INEC on his website, one of the things on his website, the INEC admitted that the electoral process in Nigeria has not met the desired standard. Best practices globally is there. INEC self-admitted. So, but it's not just about admitting. What are you doing? Because you need the buy-in of the people.
Sure.
You need trust. The one major problem in Nigeria is that the trust deficit is so high. No matter whether government says we are going to do this, INEC says people will just say not today. You know, we've heard that promise so many times. So INEC must be conscious, not just being defensive. And then at the end of the day, it tells us if you are not satisfied, go to court. It is not, you know, it's not good though. Let's face facts. Some of these things are not good. You just tell people go to court. People have come out to run in an election. Now we've turned election into a charade. Look at local government elections. Look at what is going on. In some cases, no voting at all. Names are just written and people, you know, were just declared winners. We are not deepening democracy.
Okay. The Ondo State election is in a few days, on Saturday. What should we expect?
I think what we'll expect is an election that will have pockets of violence.
Oh, really?
I don't see massive violence.
But you expect?
As usual, I expect that to happen. I also don't see the kind of manipulation people are talking about happening. Because this same man who bragged that they have the formula was unable to do it in certain places. Meaning that wherever they used the formula and it worked, they had some level of reason to have won. Edo State is one. Because I can tell you from sources close to the candidate of the PDP in Edo State that he said it very clearly, that if there is a reason he's going to lose that the election, it will be because of the baggage that Obaseki had on him. Because the PDP is loved in that state. But that outgone governor did some very unforgettable, unforgivable things. So wherever you are going to reach, you must have some level of popularity. What you are doing is that the rigging, so-called rigging or formula, is only aiding your popularity.
Okay.
And not that you can go all out like it used to be in the past and sit in one house and write results. That I don't know if others see it, but I think that era is gone completely. Where you just sit somewhere and you write results, and then you go and snatch ballot boxes, and then you go and throw the votes into the water. Okay. And I think that era is gone.
Now,
I see some level of credibility.
As we round off the show, okay, what message do you have for the people of Ondo State as they go out to vote on Saturday? And especially for those who say that, oh, I'm not going out to vote on Saturday. What message do you have for them?
That might even be a major problem on Saturday, low voter turnout. Because all these claims and counter-claims, have the potential to scare the people.
To scare the voters?
Yeah, to scare the voters, yes. And one thing is certain, of course, on Saturday, winner will emerge.
Sure.
But, you see, the emphasis we place on politics over and above governance is worrisome. You see all the money that has been deployed into, engaging people as special assistants in different areas. And these areas need teachers. They need doctors. They need, government presence. But the more important thing is getting people, grassroots coordinators, because election is coming. When the election is done and dusted, the challenge of governance, good governance, will still be there. So, for me, the people should choose their conscience over whatever inducements will come their way.
Okay.
And make sure that they monitor the process. The security agencies, I will appeal to them not to allow anybody to compromise them.
Yeah.
Then INEC should know that Nigerians don't have confidence in that electoral body. So they must try. What happened in Edo State where somebody was found to have, where there were instances, where people, electoral officers changed results and all those changed, figures. INEC should try to make sure it doesn't occur at all, not by any stretch of imagination. It is doable, and INEC should do it. The security agencies should do it. It's not impossible. After all, how many people are even in all these states where you have all the governors? It's not a general election.
Exactly.
It's just one state. How many people are in that state? So INEC should make sure that those little things that jump out to spoil its name, they should be reduced to the barest
minimum. As we round off, what message do you have for the people of Ondo State?
Well, like I said, for me, they should go out and vote.
Okay.
I don't see an unbearable level of violence, especially when the people are together, when they decide to curb some of these things. They can do it. We've seen places where government came in the past and they chased them away because you are more in number.
Exactly.
And they have the capacity. Those who are handling the voting process, we should also appeal to their conscience. Because the way we see INEC is like INEC is just the chairman. But he's using some people. We've seen even cases where youth corps members compromised. And they took money.
Exactly.
People would think are serving their country and they should be upstanding, right standing. They did. So it's those who are in charge of these processes that we are going to appeal to. Don't take money. Because what we always do is we take money to compromise and bring violence on the people.
Okay.
So everybody should be at their best behavior. Security agencies, INEC officials, even the voters. Let's go out there and choose the best for the state. Because we are seeing some things in some of our states where we've had elections in 2023 that are not palatable, meaning that people chose wrongly.
Okay. And I
choose based on your conscience.
And I also hope maybe the EFCC will also be on ground.
EFCC, ICPC will be there.
Both buyers and all. But really, I want to say thank you to you gentlemen. That's all Ladipo. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for
to have this conversation. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. And that's it on Journalist Hangout. today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. Yes, you can watch the repeat broadcast of this episode tonight at 11 and join us on Sunday for another episode from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. on Journalist Hangout on Sunday. We're on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Benga Oreshegun. Thank you so much and God bless Nigeria.
Every major news story is with many perspectives and layered with different levels of impact.
Hello. What time did this?
First, with breaking news.
Information is power, information is security, information is knowledge. Unlabeled to believe that working people around the world have real questions of their own. They want to know how the world of work operates, what it means to the employer of labor, how policies affect workers in the workplace. Unlabeled, I ensure we engage effectively the organized labor, organized private sector and government to get out of them information workers are in need of. I am Sharon Ijason, asking questions that make you get sense of the workplace.
There is always more to a story than the screaming headline. The part of a story that is not told casts a shadow. It's like the part of an object that is not reached by light. On TVC News, I'm able to explore the many angles there are to a story, talking to stakeholders, asking the difficult questions and digging for facts. I believe the viewers are able to make a better decision if they're well informed and understand not just a part, but the complete story. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Hello, TVC Communications. How can I help?